amazing goals, some amazing victorious scenes there of the two finalists of the FIFA World Cup 2018, France and Russia. Welcome to our coverage of the World Cup. I'm your host, Rausan Pereira. With me in the studio, Jyoti and Burrett, former Indian national player, and Nilanjan, Datta, media officer of the Indian national team. Thank you to the both of you for joining me on the program. Let's start the program first, of course, with Infantino. The World Cup in Russia has been the best ever edition of the tournament, Gianni Infantino said at an hour-long news conference today. Infantino, who was dressed in a red volunteer's uniform, also thanked the Russian government and President Vladimir Putin for their part in hosting the tournament.
I would first of all like to thank everyone which was involved in the participation in the organization of the World Cup. Of course, the main actors are those on the pitch, the players, the referees, the coaches, but then also all those who have operated around to make sure that everything works smoothly. The Russians, the Russian people, a big thank you to Russia. Spasiba Rossiya. Thank you very much. Big thank to the Russian government, President Putin, of course, the local organizing committee, the Russian Football Union, everyone who was involved in this country to make sure this World Cup would be the best ever.
Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, there is calling this edition of the World Cup the best ever. Jyoti and Burrett, do you agree with the FIFA president? Are you compelled to agree with him?
I think besides the opening ceremony, which wasn't great for me, I think otherwise it's been a really good World Cup, very smooth, very, the crowds have been good, no, violence or anything after games. I think that way it's been a good World Cup, also in terms of, surprising results, and it's been a viewer's delight, this World Cup.
Nilanjan, Infantino, talking about this World Cup being the best ever. You've been watching football now for a few years, several World Cups that you've seen. Is this on top there?
Off the field, the organization has been splendid, because if you come one by one points, there was people were a bit skeptical at the outset to travel to Russia. I haven't traveled, was not lucky enough. I can only read it from the newspapers and hear it from my friends, many of whom have traveled there. The organization has been wonderful. People were skeptical, people don't speak English. There's a kind of violence which happens in Russia. There are some sociological problems. Nothing has arisen as far. The influx of tourists, one team goes out, those tourists go out. The teams who are staying in, there's another 10,000 traveling in. Right from the time VIPs, teams, referees, all stakeholders land at the airport, the local organizing committees, the Russian Football Federation's biggest challenge is to ensure a smooth transition from their hotel to the training grounds, to the stadium, to the various meetings. That way it has been splendid. The fan engagement has been brilliant, marketing has been very good. Ticket sales, except for the semi-final match where there were some empty seats, all the stadiums have been full. Even for the last group league matches. Off the field, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There has not been that lion who has been controlling it from the midfield, someone like a Zidane or a Ronaldo in the box, the perfect number 9, Diego Maradona. But the results have been outstanding in the sense unpredictable. The surprise element is back in the World Cup. Otherwise, Germany, Argentina, Brazil going out so early prior to the semi-finals. I would give a thumbs up, big thumbs up.
What, if anything, did not work for you in this World Cup, Jyoti?
It's a hard one actually, because I've enjoyed the World Cup. I've liked the football I've seen. If anything, maybe I would have expected slightly more goals in the group stages, more prolific scoring. But apart from that, that just shows that I think in today's modern game,
the teams are more evenly matched.
They are very evenly matched, and it's great to see a team like Saudi Arabia, drawing with the big guns, and you cannot
and
pick.
A South Korea beating Germany.
Exactly. So it's so unpredictable, and it's good to see actually that teams are coming up and there isn't much disparity anymore.
Pressure on Qatar to deliver for 2022?
There's pressure on any LOC, local organizing committee, who's hosting any international games, in fact, be it the Asian Games, be it the Commonwealth Games, be it the Olympics. Obviously, the World Cup is the greatest show on earth. There have been talks. But Qatar has been successfully previously hosted international football tournaments right from the Asian Cup in 2011. Not in a position to say something, how's everything going on there. We trust everything would be fine when FIFA has given them the green signal. But yeah, they have to live up to the expectations, and given Qatar's history, I believe they will.
Okay, all right. So time to move on now and talk about the final, because that's what we're going to build up to over the next 2 days before the grand finale in Moscow, of course, on Sunday. First up, let's talk about the French team now and see how they have played and what was their starting lineup in the previous match, and will Didier Deschamps change this winning combination, or will he go with the same side against Croatia? Well, the playing 11, of course, of that team was Hugo Lloris, Benjamin Pavard, Raphael Varane, Samuel Mtiti, Paul Pogba, Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud, Kylian Mbappe, Kante, Blaise Matuidi, of course, Hernandez as well. This was the starting 11. Let's take a look at the Croatian playing 11 for the semi-final match. How many of them will be fit to take the field on the final remains to be seen still, but this was the team. Daniel Subasic, Sime Velasco, Ivan Strinic, Ivan Perisic, Dejan Lovren, Ivan Rakitic, Luka Modric, Marcelo Brozovic, Mario Mandzukic, Ante Rebic and Demogod Vida made up the playing 11 as far as Croatia was concerned in the semi-final. Jyoti, do you expect Didier Deschamps to go with the same team for the final, or do you think he's going to change his team around against Croatia?
No, I think I'll expect him to go with the same team. It's a team that's been working for him, especially his defense. You know, they've really risen to the occasion. So I think he's going to stick with his back four. His midfield's also been good, solid, and his three up front, I don't think he has a lot of options up there anyway. He's got, you know, three great strikers to go with. So I don't think he's going to change that lineup at all.
Talking about the back four, of course, Pavard, Varane, Umtiti and Hernandez. Happy with the way they've played in the World Cup. Nilanjan, do you think maybe one of them needs a break for the final?
No. You cannot toy, or no coach will ever be changing the defense back four in a World Cup final. And more than defending, they have scored important goals. Means defenders also should be scoring goals. And if you look back at the tournament, as and when the chances have come in, they have grabbed it. So that therein stays the firepower of the entire French team. I don't think so at all there would be any thought process going into the mind of Didier Deschamps to be changing his first 11 either. Leave aside, never the back four.
Let's talk about the player who plays behind the back four. Jyoti, you probably should have started with him, because he's been instrumental for the French side.
He has. Lloris he's been a backbone for the team. You know, he had a great performance against Belgium. I think if he hadn't pulled out those blinders, that game might have gone very differently. Could have gone differently. So definitely he's their first keeper without any doubt, and he'll be starting at the back and hoping to, you know, replicate his form that he's been carrying on through this tournament.
You know, let's talk about the players who play in front of the defenders now, Kante and Pogba. Kante has been exceptionally good right through the course of the World Cup. He's played his role incredibly well. He's there to do a particular job, and he has done that. But the same can't be said about Pogba.
Needs to lift up his game a bit. Obviously hasn't been as consistent as Kante has been. But you know, there's always the supporting role which one needs to play. Pogba's has to play equally support to Griezmann, has to play the equal support to Kante. In a team like Manchester United, he obviously grabs all the challenge. So the running around, the work rate, means playing the second, winning the second balls, playing the 1-2s may not be as much as visible for him in the French team as much it is there for club football for him in Manchester United. So therein stays the attitude of the player. Sometimes it goes into the ego. I am the showman. I should be running the show. I should be the ringmaster. He has been able to, Didier Deschamps has been able to nail it down on him, drill down the him. This is your perfect role. I don't see him as a failure, or he has done well. Obviously, given his stature, we may have wanted him to maybe score a goal, 2-3 passes, but has played the perfect foil to both of them.
Kante, the workhorse that he is he carrying tired legs into the final?
That guy never gets tired. You know, I have never seen Kante jogging or ever even looking remotely tired, let alone in the World Cup. You know, through a full season in the English Premier League, he's someone who he's got a third lung, that chap, and he's gonna be on fire in the final for sure.
Let's talk about the players who play in front of Kante and Pogba now. Griezmann, and also there's the other players as well, Mbappe and Giroud, the lone striker, of course. But Mbappe, you've time and again called him the player of the tournament thus far.
The find of the tournament, if not the player of the tournament thus far, the perfect one to execute France's counter-attacks.
Yes.
Big physique, very strong, exceptionally fast, especially when a team which has been defending, as France has been done in phases, you want to do counter-attacks with someone who can initiate it in a flash. And once he's off in a flash into that vacant space, it gives all the others to take their positions. So that's been his biggest strength, and he has been willing to dig deep into the French area or the French defensive third from where he has operated, been around the center line from where he has operated, down the middle, on the flanks, the perfect guy to start the counter attack.
Indeed, he is. He's fast. He's also not scared to carry the ball with him, and that's, of course, a good thing as far as football is concerned. Point. Yeah. You know, let's talk about the other two, Matuidi and Griezmann. A word on Matuidi and Griezmann.
Matuidi had a good game in the last game. I think he's someone who's been slightly overshadowed with, you know, the big names in the team. But he's played his role, definitely a very important role up there. Griezmann has not been as prolific in his scoring as we would expect, because we know. But
he's got a different role in this French side.
He's got a different role here. You know, he's playing a slightly more. He's putting in the deliveries, which are actually making a difference. Because they've got people like Mbappe to latch on to them, and Giroud. So his delivery has been excellent this World Cup. His corners, his free kicks. So he definitely has made his impact.
Since you brought up Giroud, is he the weak link really as far as this French team is concerned?
I don't think so. I think he's been playing his holding sort of striker role. You know, he's been using his physique to his advantage. He's the one who receives the ball, blaze it off. It may not look like he's doing much, but I think he is playing his role in the team.
Do you agree with that, Nilanjan, or do you think maybe Giroud should be replaced by someone else?
See, the goals are coming. Obviously, one would expect a number 9 to be scoring much more. He has not had a single shot on the target, but the role which he has been given, once a team plays on counter-attack, very rightly pointed out, you need someone, a big physique, to chase the ball, hold it for the others to take their spaces. And with such a physique who can jostle down with the central defenders of the rival defense never likes a big physique guy, whether he scores or doesn't score. He takes out such players take out the steam from the rival defenses.
Just the presence is enough.
Exactly. What he needs to pull up is, when he's having a shot on the frame, it needs to be, if not into the net, within the frame. That's the part where I believe he needs to deliver.
All right, let's look at the other team now. We should talk about the bench as well and see how the two teams' bench strength is. Happy with the bench strength of France and how the substitutes have come on and played their role in the tournament thus far?
Sure, definitely, because without the bench, no team is absolutely perfect, can never be ever perfect. And remember, this is the World Cup where you play around 7 matches if you are to win the World Cup in a span of 30 days. There's intense travelling involved. So the recovery also travelling also eats into the recovery. They have more or less gone with kind of a seasoned player of the same level. But obviously, as and when the guys have come on, they have been there.
Okay, now it's time to look at the other team that we've spoken about, the bench strength as well. Let's start with the goalkeeper first of Croatia, Subasic, a personal favourite, Jyoti, because you've time and again said that he's been brilliant in goal, and football is a striker's game, but he's been in the spotlight more than the strikers for Croatia.
He has. He saved them, on numerous occasions. He's had a great tournament. He's someone who's he's a smart goalkeeper. He's got experience on his side. He seems to, you know, he's a great judge of the ball. And with him, you know, in goal, I think Croatia have a lot of confidence going up. Their defense definitely has a lot of confidence with him in goal. He's been great for them, you know. He has been a tournament changer for this Croatian team.
Let's look at the back four as far as Croatia are concerned. Vida had a wonderful semi-final. Rasalko too has been great. Two big guns at the back for Croatia, would you say?
Definitely, but there have been some momentary lapses, if I am allowed to say that, in their defensive lineup. Not always, and in crunch matches it hurts, it pinches. Conceding from set pieces has been their biggest bane, if I may say. That's a thing which I need to be a bit cautious about in the final. A bit slow on the turning, Vida especially. So that's an area where Didier Deschamps may be willing to employ Mbappe there, but it's been okay, not perfect. But obviously, you don't need to be absolutely perfect when you have a goalkeeper at the back like Subasic.
Indeed. Let's talk about the other two backs now, Strinic and Lovren. Happy with the way they've played thus far, or do you think they need to pull up their socks?
Lovren has been good. In his last game, I could see him getting a bit frustrated because he was having to, you know, mark someone like Sterling and Harry Kane, who were making life a little hard for him. But otherwise, I think he's been solid. On the left wing, not as much overlapping as we've seen from Rasalko on the right wing, but he's been doing his job well. You know, they're playing a back four.
And they're also playing one in front, Brozovic. Happy with the way Brozovic has played so far?
Definitely. He's someone who's definitely added in both senses, in attack and defense, and he's a workhorse. He's playing box to box. He is someone who has been stopping a lot of balls going actually through to Lovren and Vida. So having him there is a huge it's a huge boost for their defense.
From the defensive midfielder to the attacking midfielders, they have quite a few of them. Croatia, your thoughts on the four who play in front of Brozovic?
Luka Modric has been brilliant. He's the one who brings the team to rhythm because he can pass and pass in a deadly fashion. So he's been ruling the roost in the midfield. Rakitic has been brilliant. A bit off color maybe in the semi-final, but yeah, the engine that he possesses, he's always there to support whoever comes up. Perisic was a game changer the other day.
He was a revelation in the semi-final.
He was a revelation in the semi-final, and one would be only expecting to carry on the wonder form. I only still hope, still feel that ball which hit the post upright, went out, should have gone in. They didn't need to go into the extra time then.
Jyoti, Mandzukic, the lone striker, as far as Croatia is concerned, maybe does he need support? Do you think maybe Coach Dalit should play two strikers instead of one?
See, I think when he's got Rebic on the field, he's got anyway a very attacking-minded, midfielder, and Rebic gets up with Mandzukic very often. So I think Mandzukic does have support. Perisic also likes going forward. So I think the three of them have been working well together. Mandzukic is someone, even with Juventus, he likes playing as the lone striker. He likes that role. He likes, being the main man, the main target man. So it's worked for them here, and I don't think they're going to play with another striker. I think they're going to keep that one striker.
That's it as far as the two teams are concerned. Thank you, Nilanjan and Jyoti. We'll continue our build-up to the final tomorrow and day after as well. But for now, we'll take a look at a little segment that we prepared for you on the best poachers of all time. Take a look as I take your leave. The game of football has a very simple aim of scoring goals. And there are some players who have cemented their place in history by scoring a bucket full of goals to become the greatest poachers of all time. These players not only include football legends like Pelé, Puskás, Müller and Eusebio, but the list also includes current players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. But surprisingly, the man who tops the list of the greatest poachers of all time is Arthur Freudenreich. The Brazilian striker played for 26 years from 1909 to 1935 and scored 1,329 goals in his career. He was the Copa America Player of the Tournament in 1919 and won the Golden Boot in the same year. Regarded as the greatest footballer of all time, Pelé scored 1,281 goals in 1,363 games, and he is the only player in the world to win 3 World Cups including 1958, 1962 and the 1970 World Cups. Pelé made his senior team debut in 1956 at the age of 15 in club football and for the Brazilian national team at age 16. Pelé's first international match was a 2-1 defeat against Argentina on the 7th of July 1957. In that match, he scored his first goal for Brazil, aged 16 years and 9 months, to become the youngest player to score in international football. He made his World Cup debut in 1958 and in the semi-final against France, he scored a hat-trick to become the youngest player in World Cup history to do so. With his pace, effortless grace and 1,281 goals in his kitty, Pelé is probably one of the greatest footballers of all time. With a goal-to-game ratio of 1.52, Joseph Bican was the season's highest scorer in Europe on 5 separate occasions. He was also awarded the Golden Ball as the greatest goal scorer of the last century by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics. Bican is the only person in the history of the game to score 7 goals in a game on 3 different occasions. With 805 goals in his career, the speedy Austrian is the 3rd highest goal scorer in the history of the game. Next on the list is Brazilian forward Romário. In a long and successful career which spanned for close to 24 years, Romário cemented his legacy as one of the greatest goal scorers to ever play the game. The Brazilian is best remembered for his times at PSV Eindhoven and Barcelona. He scored 165 goals in 167 games for PSV, and for Barcelona he scored 39 goals in his 2 seasons there. Romário scored an amazing 688 goals in his 886 appearances at the club level. He also scored 55 goals for Brazil, and with 743 goals in his career, Romário is the 4th greatest poacher of all time. Gerd Müller is one of the most lethal finisher in the history of football. The German has scored 711 goals for club and country, and he even held the record for the most goals in a calendar year before it was broken by Lionel Messi. Hungary's Ferenc Puskás was La Liga's top scorer for 4 seasons in a row. His phenomenal goal-scoring ability can be seen from the fact that he scored an astonishing 616 goals in 620 appearances for his club, and also holds the record of scoring 84 times in 85 appearances for Hungary. Next on the list is Portuguese great Eusebio. Scoring 621 goals in 637 appearances, he is one of the greatest poachers of all time. During his career, Eusebio won a European Cup and 11 Premier Leagues. In 440 matches for the Portuguese giants Benfica, he scored 473 goals and is still considered by many to be the greatest Portuguese footballer of all time. Eusebio won several awards including the Ballon d'Or in 1965 and came second the following year. In 1968, he was awarded the Golden Boot for most number of goals in Europe and achieved that feat again 5 years later. Next on the list is another Portuguese, Cristiano Ronaldo, who is considered as one of the greatest players of his generation. In 438 appearances for Real Madrid, Ronaldo has scored an astonishing 450 goals, while he was also prolific with Manchester United, where he scored 118 goals in 292 games. Ronaldo has now scored an incredible 573 goals for his club sides, making him the greatest goal scorer among the current footballers. For Portugal, with 85 goals, he is their all-time record goal scorer. He also holds the record of winning the Ballon d'Or award 5 times, level with Messi, and is the first player to win 4 European Golden Boots. With 658 goals in his career, he currently is at the number 8 position on the list of greatest poachers of all time. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.